Corey over there with the fireplace, closing deals on the cell phone. I could dig it. So when I started teaching, soon after getting my real estate license, it was one of the things that I've always liked to do. And this course morphed from different titles and different titles. And the one that stuck out the most and the one that made the most sense is a commitment to yourself, a commitment to your family, a commitment to whomever. It could be a commitment to the other 8 people on this call, having them as accountability partners, that you are going to close your first 12 deals. Why do I say 12? 12 months in a year, 12 deals just kind of seems normal for somebody to do when they first start real estate, not in your first year, because it's probably going to be 1 a quarter, if that, just because it takes a little while to get started. But 12 deals, once you kind of close your first 12, you're going to get an understanding of the process. The same thing when I would teach martial arts, as a new white belt walking in the gym, you're not going to understand the process. You're not going to understand why you're doing certain things until you can look back in time and say, oh yeah, that's why I did that. That's why this happened. So can everybody see my screen? Did I do a screen share? Let's go here. Perfect. Al, can see that?
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it, Ray. So I will commit to closing my first 12 deals. This is going to be a broad stroke overview. We're going to talk about different tips, tricks, strategies. We're going to talk about social media a little bit. We're going to talk about ideology, mindset, and everything like that. Picture, I always like to start this because I asked the question, and the question is, how long does it take the average person to get their black belt in jiu-jitsu? Chip, what is your answer for that?
Am I supposed to know, or is it just a guess?
No, it's just a generic question. Any answer is a good answer.
Oh, I don't know, a couple years.
Kelly?
Maybe like 5 or 7.
Okay. Craig?
I'd say 10.
Okay. The answer is kind of, it's like a trick question, right? The average person does not ever get their black belt in jiu-jitsu. The average person quits within 2 to 3 months. The number of people that I've seen go through my gym was crazy. And it's very similar to real estate. How long does it take the average person to become successful in real estate? The answer is the average person will never become real estate, success. You all are above average. That's why your managers hired you. That's why you're all doing this training class. You have to constantly want to evolve and be coachable. That's going to be a theme that you're going to hear throughout this whole entire process. Be coachable. Even when I was training at the gym, I would still go to seminars taught by other people. I could learn something from a brand new agent. I could learn something from a 35-year plus agent. You all have to have that mentality of you can learn from everybody. The kiss of death is what we call the that syndrome. When somebody brings up a great idea and you're like, oh, I've already tried that. That doesn't work. Or I heard that that's useless. Or anytime you say something remotely close to that, it's just the kiss of death, because if you haven't tried it yourself, you're not going to know. The analogy is, if you take Shaquille O'Neal, everybody know who Shaquille O'Neal is? If you take him and you tell him that he is not good because he can't shoot a 3-pointer, and you have him working on only 3s and not using what his God-given talent, he would never make it to the Hall of Fame. Same way, if you take Steph Curry and you put him in the post, he'll never become good. So Craig, if you're awesome on the phones, utilize that. It's what gym equipment works best, the one that you use. Chip, if you're great face-to-face with folks, start setting up face-to-face interactions. And that's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to try a little bit of everything in the beginning. You're going to really want to put forth your effort. Don't try it once and say, oh, that doesn't work. Try everything. In the beginning of your career, you're going to want to try and fail forward. You're going to have a support staff. You're going to have managers. You're going to have other agents in your office that are going to be there to help you. And they're going to be able to give you some of those tips and tricks that you're going to want to do. I told myself when I first started jiu-jitsu, before I even knew that I was going to have a son, but the day that I got my black belt, I wanted to hold my son while my original instructor, that's Steve Cardian right there, promoted me. And this picture will forever be posted mentioned, made reference to. So what we're going to talk today about is real estate myths versus reality. We're going to plan for success. Who do I target? Working your center of influence, your sphere of influence. Those are going to be your immediate success stories. Craig, you made reference to it earlier where, you know, a friend of a friend from high school was your first client. My first client was a student of mine. My second client was my brother-in-law. I call it like grandma, right? In my grandma's eyes, Ryan can do no wrong. She's going to be a client of mine. You have to have enough of those success stories, right? Traditionally. And then all of a sudden you start to break out, and then you get the referral business, and then you get a lead from customer service, and then you get this, and then you get that. We're going to engage our audience through marketing and social media networking. And again, be a student of the game. What you want to do is just constantly learn and evolve and become better and better every single day, every single time. All right. We're going to go to Ray. If you know the answer, because you've already been to this class, don't answer it the right way. But what does that number mean? You're on mute, I believe.
Success rate.
Success rate. Okay. I like the way you put that. Gila, what does that number mean to you?
About failure rate.
Perfect. I like it. Right? Glass half empty, glass half full. That is the NAR statistic of the people that get into real estate and within 1 year are out of real estate. So let's round it up to 90%, 9 out of 10 people. There's 10 people on this call. Statistically, 9 of you should be done with real estate within a year. I call bullshit on that. All right, excuse my language. The reason why is because people are fed hopes and dreams versus reality. People get into real estate because they like the show House Hunters International, and they think that their clients are going to look at 3 houses for $1.5 million each, and then they're going to cash a commission check for $60,000 within an episode or within a commercial break. Nobody looks at it with the lens of how difficult it's going to be. And again, I say difficult, it just takes time to learn the processes. Just like anything else, if you learn a new sport, you're not going to be hitting home runs on day one. You have to go to the batting cages every single day. People, when they come into the office, say, Ryan, I'm not successful. What could I do? Have I seen you in the office? No. Have you done anything outside of real estate aside from posting one thing when you first got your license? No. So how do you expect to be successful if you're not doing anything that a normal person would deem success, right? It's like, have you lost weight? No. Well, have you gone to the gym? No, but I'm eating Hostess and Twinkies every day. You have to have, you know, both sides of the fence where you have to put the work in order to become successful. I was talking with Ray earlier, and real estate is like a slow moving locomotive. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of steam to get it up and running. But once it finally gets going, you're going to have lead, you're going to have piggyback lead, you're going to have, you know, a friend of a friend that heard of you. You're going to have this, you're going to have that. I know Corey's on the phone right now, but he just came to Berkshire from another company a few months ago. And I think he's already closed his 5th deal because he's trusting the process. He's here every day. He's working. He's observing. He's listening to the senior agents. He's kind of getting their cadences, learning how to talk to clients and everything. So what I encourage everybody is to take that 87.5 and completely smash it out of the water. All right. I want everybody 1 year from now to join the next session in Q4 2022 and to talk about your success stories with the new class coming in. One of the things as realtors that we have to do is you need to have a GPS, right? If you don't have a GPS and you're trying to go somewhere, you're going to go so many different ways and you might not ever arrive at your final destination. GPSs are easy. You put the information into the computer, it'll tell you exactly how to go from point A to point B with everything in between. The beauty of the new GPS systems, if there's an accident or a detour, it'll reroute you. Throughout your career, you're going to have to constantly get rerouted. My office door is always open, and I have agents that have been in the business for 30 years who had a bad weekend because maybe a deal fell apart or whatever the case is. And I'm done. I'm going to hang it up and go bag groceries at Trader Joe's. Right? You have to constantly get rerouted, get refocused, and back onto that. Some of my favorite quotes when it comes to goal setting is people with goals succeed because they know where they're going. Success is on the opposite side of fear. It's Will Smith. You have to give a shout out to the Fresh Prince. The greater danger for most of us is that our aim is too high and miss it, but our aim is too low and we reach it. You want to have goals that are just high enough where it's going to force you to work, but not so far out of the realm. You're not going to want to have a goal to close 300 deals your first year, right? We also don't want to have a goal that you're going to close one deal. Right? Have something in the middle. Talk to your manager. Whatever goal you set up is the goal that you're going to have. Each agent is different. Gila is going to have a different goal in her mind than maybe Craig would, and that's fine. Our job as managers and leaders is to help you achieve your specific goal. Be patient and engage in consistent action. I cannot stress that one enough. You should all get it tattooed on your forehead, written on a chalkboard, put somewhere. Patience is your best friend, but you have to be consistent with your action. You have to go every single day, go through the motions, and do things that are going to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Cold calling, once we can get back to doing it, might be a little uncomfortable. That's fine. So is going to the gym. When you go to the gym and you lift weights, you rip muscle to recreate new muscle. That's what we're trying to do here. Goals in writing are dreams with deadlines. Brian Tracy says that. This guy's relatively smart, Albert Einstein. If you want to be happy, tie it to a goal, not to other people. Apparently he didn't like people too much. And then visions without execution is just a hallucination. Our friend Thomas Edison. All right, so you're going to want to constantly have goals. And, the next slide that I'm going to show is, it's going to be what we call an efficiency calculator. Now, I'm going to give everybody a copy of this PDF. We're not going to go through the total numbers and everything. This was basically written by Debbie DeGrow, and what it is it's the efficiency of how good you are at closing deals. So if you reverse engineer the numbers, right? Let's say your sphere of influence is 100 people, all right? And you want to close 12 deals, right? What you're going to do is it's going to take that and it's going to reverse engineer all the way down to the bottom where you say total daily contacts needed. And the way it breaks down is if you're low efficiency, which most of you are because you just started in the business, it'll be 8 contacts per day. Average efficiency would be 7 contacts a day, and high efficiency, which would be 6. And if you talk to 6 different people per day, you're going to close roughly 12 deals a year. The numbers, it's reverse engineering, it's sales 101, right? 10 phone calls leads to 5 appointments, leads to 2 prospects, leads to 1 closing, right? It's just continuing to reverse engineer those numbers all the way down. I'm going to give everybody, like I said, a copy of this. That way you all can do the numbers yourself on your own time. These numbers in the middle, these are the constants. I don't know where she got these numbers from, but if we go back here, this was back in 2016. This was my last year of full-time sales. I knew that when I made the transition from agent to manager, I had to be the #1 salesperson on the team. I couldn't be number 7 and still expect to have a management role. I knew traditionally and historically what the top agents were doing in the Niskayuna office. I knew it was about 22 deals. So I gave myself a goal of 25 deals. I took my 25 deals, and this was just the same math from the previous page. And it came down to about 17.98 contacts a day. I did that. If you look over here, Ryan Clark, 25.5 deals. All right. The numbers don't lie. Is it going to always be that accurate and that, that close? Maybe not, but the science is behind it and the numbers are behind it. So absolutely use that efficiency calculator and absolutely plug those numbers in so you know exactly how to talk to people every single day. All right. So what this is right here, this is engaging your leads, right? And there's different ways of engaging leads, right? Craig, in your previous job, did you ever do like any drip campaigns or anything like that?
No.
Okay, and that's fine. So what a drip campaign is, it's essentially a slow trickle effect, right? It's the slow farming, it's the slow email, it's like the door knocking, right? It's not going to be, hey, I'm knocking on your door, you want to buy a house today? It's the introduction into who you are. I'm sure you've all seen the postcards that you get sent to your house from various realtors. Apparently they don't scrub the list and realize that you are a realtor yourself and you probably buy your own property, but nonetheless, one of my favorite things to see is people sending like cake recipes. They clearly don't know their audience because I can't cook or bake. I burn pasta, and I've done it before. My son yells at me. And when I microwave things, I put it in there for way too long because I forget about it. When you are doing any type of campaign, make sure you're authentic. All right. And that should be another key word that you all write down. Be authentic. If I was to ever do a campaign or a mailer, I would never in my life send my friends, the 12 steps to make a bundt cake. They would look at me and say, Ryan, who does your marketing? I would probably do something different and say, here are the 12 steps to microwave your Happy Meal, right? Something that they would get a chuckle out of because they know that's me. Guerrilla marketing, it's just old school. Don't leave until the job is done, hitting the pavement, face-to-face engagement. Back when I was selling more, I would go to the mall with a stack of business cards and I would literally hand them out to strangers all day long. And I would just go and just say, hey, I'm a local real estate agent. I live in the area. I'm in the community. I know this is super awkward for you to get a random business card from somebody, but that's how passionate I am. If you have any questions about real estate, let me know. And the beauty of our business is that everybody cares about real estate to a certain degree. It is the American dream. I did insurance sales for a while. And let me tell you, when you make reference that you're an insurance salesperson, people run the other way. Nobody cares about the mortality rate. Nobody cares about death benefits to a certain degree. I get it. They're important. But nobody's going to flock to you the way that they would about real estate. What is the number one most asked question when you make reference to real estate? Corey. Are you on mute? Can you hear me?
How much can I sell my home and what's the price of the market?
Okay, that's a good answer. Chip, what do you think?
How many houses have you sold? How long have you been in the business?
Yeah.
If you're asking them correctly.
And that's a good question too. And let me ask you a question. What if somebody did ask you how long you've been in the business for? What would you say?
The honest answer, I'd say that I'm new to it.
Good. And how would you follow that up? And I know I'm putting you under the bus and throwing you on the spot, which is fine because we're going to try to get as uncomfortable as possible so we can do it in training. So when real world happens, you have that answer, boom, just like that.
Well, personally, I would go into my business experience throughout high school and sort of show, highlight the positives. Even though I'm brand new to it, I would show that I'm not actually like brand new to the world or anything. I've got some experience with people and stuff. So.
And I love that answer. That's beautiful. A lot of times people, and you're well wise above your years, my friend. So that's great. A lot of times people will say, oh, I'm brand new. And they will just leave it at that. Right. So you followed up like, yeah, I might be brand new in real estate, but I've also owned my own business. This is what I do. One of the greatest things you could say to people is like, listen, the fact that I'm brand new is actually going to be a benefit to you. The rest of my real estate career is going to be based on the foundation of these first few transactions. The other benefit is since I am so new, I have the backing of my broker who is going to basically watch every single thing that I do. So not only do you get me as a realtor on the front lines, you also get my broker behind the scenes to help us navigate this whole entire process. And then boom, you take that negative into a positive. And it's going to be hard for somebody to say, you know what, that's actually really true. And that's hugely beneficial. The number one most asked question when you bring up real estate is how is the market? Everybody asks that question. It's kind of like when you see somebody you haven't seen in a while, it's like, hey buddy, how are you? And they don't answer the question. They just say, good, how are you? They don't really care how you are. It's just a knee-jerk reaction to ask how you are. So when people make reference to how the market is, you always want to follow up with open-ended questions, right? So Ray, ask me how the market is.
How's the real estate market?
Well, that depends. Are you looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest?
Buy.
You're looking to buy. Is there any specific locations you're looking at buying?
Good school district.
Gotcha.
Something nice. 4-bedroom.
Gotcha. I mean, something nice. Is that going to be a colonial townhouse?
Yeah, colonial, raised ranch.
And is there a certain mile radius you want to be within? Because there's great school districts between here and Glens Falls.
Mainly Colony.
Mainly Colony, North Colony or South Colony?
North.
Perfect. Awesome. Hey, Ray, what's your email address?
arlamorticello@gmail.com.
Awesome. I'm going to do a quick search. I'm going to send you some stuff. When is a good time for us to meet and look at them?
Whenever's good for you.
Awesome. So what you do is you take that question, you ask open-ended questions. Now I have his email address, and now I'm going to set up an appointment to go show him properties in North Colony schools to a certain degree. The other thing you could have done was somebody asked how the market. So Ray, let's do this again.
Okay. How's the market?
It's great.
Yeah. Selling anything?
Cool. Talk to you later.
Okay.
Right? It's that everybody wants to say how great the market. Oh, it's great. Well, if we tell the world the market is great, what do they need us for? Right? People watch HGTV. They're like, oh, I could do this on my own. They don't realize all the different intricacies behind every single real estate transaction. Right? So when somebody asks, and they are 100% going to ask you, how's the market? That all depends on if they're looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest. Gila, you are an investor. You are an investor. What you're looking for in an investment is going to be completely different than what you're looking for as if you're looking for a single family home to raise your family in. It'll be completely different than if you're looking to sell. Shoot, we're on the Niskayuna border. The market is completely different between Niskayuna and Schenectady. Literally one street over, the market is completely different. So we can't, as a blanket statement, say the market is good, say the market is bad, say that it's this, say that it's that. I encourage you all to ask those open-ended questions. And because I'm a glutton for your punishment, Craig, how's the market?
It's good. It's, are you looking to rent, buy, invest?
Yeah, perfect. So you see how instantly the knee-jerk reaction will bring you to it's good?
Yeah.
It always happens that way. And and this was not like, I didn't, Craig wasn't a plant for this demonstration, right? It just always happens that way. So in your vehicle, I do this all the time. I drive 15 minutes to and from work, or when I go to my property in Lake George, it's an hour drive. I listen to classical radio and I talk to myself. My son thinks it's the weirdest thing in the world. And I practice my what I say. I don't like the word script because script is what actors do, right? I practice my cadences. I practice my dialogue, right? I practice what I do. And I just literally go through the motions. So that way, when somebody asks how the market is, it's just that instant knee-jerk reaction. It's like a slow twitch. You just know exactly what to do. Back to this sheet right here. Let's go here for a sec. Referrals. So happy clients, differentiate yourself. All right. Right now, I believe there's currently 4,200 realtors out there in the MLS. You're one of 4,200, which is, I know it's silly. I would say probably the top 10 to 15% of realtors, the only ones doing any business. So you have to figure out a way to differentiate yourself. Ask questions that's going to differentiate yourself. It's sad the way that this industry is, where if you pick up the phone and call somebody and have a conversation with them, you automatically are differentiating yourself. You're going to want to do certain things where, you're going to want to stand out. Craig, perfect example is your welcome letter with your dog, right? I know that I'll forever remember that. I'm sure you all got the email, of Craig with his pup, and now that's going to be his marketing gimmick, right? That's what he's going to do.
Yeah, that's my business card.
There you go. Dog lovers around the world, they're the most loyal group of folks, right? You already have an embedded kind of core group of people that are going to, learn and trust you. One of the things that I've encouraged and I've told every agent that's ever worked in the office or worked directly next to me or that I've gone through this course with, get invited to the housewarming party. That is your goal throughout the whole entire transaction. Again, your goal is to help them buy a house, sell a house, whatever. But you ultimately want to get invited to that housewarming party. It means that you have become part of their family. A trained monkey could sell a house. It takes a special person to get invited to the housewarming party, right? We want to be more personable, less contractual. The beauty of this is when you go to that housewarming party and you bring a bottle of champagne or whatever you bring to christen the house, you don't get introduced as Corey Cagnita. You don't get introduced as Kelly Perrone. You don't get introduced as Ryan Clark. You get introduced as the realtor that helped me buy this house 100% of the time. Hey, this is Ryan. He's my realtor. He's awesome. You got to call him. Right there, if there's 15 people at that housewarming party, guess what? You are going to talk to 15 people about, hey, how's the market? And then you're going to go into your pitch and you're going to get 15 new leads that day or whatever it is. It's an exact science, and it is absolutely beautiful to see it take place. All right, so make sure you want to work for that invite to the housewarming party. And I even tell people when we first start, like, listen, if I do a great job, I expect an invite to the housewarming party. And they laugh, they joke. They're like, all right, cool. At the closing table, say, okay, when's the housewarming party? When do we get to go and party? Obviously, with COVID, it's a little bit more difficult and things like that. But you get my point. That's what you want to do. This is just broad overview of everything. Everything that you do in real estate is going to be layered. There's no one shoe or one size fits all. Again, we'll use the gym analogy. You could run on the treadmill every single day, but if you run on the treadmill every day and then you go to McDonald's on the way of leaving the gym, you're never going to lose weight because it's not layered. You have to go to the gym, you have to eat and sleep correctly, and you have to monitor your stress. Those are the things that you're going to do in order to have that layered approach for the ultimate outcome. Real estate and sales in general is no different. You have to go layered. So you could do a farming campaign in, 12306 zip code, which is where I grew up. And then you could do a Facebook boosted post in 12306. And then I can go to that same neighborhood that I grew up in and I can start door knocking. And now all of a sudden I'm doing one campaign where they see my face 3 or 4 times, whether it's with a mailer, whether it's on social media, or whether it's face-to-face interaction. All right. So anybody who knows me knows that Tupac is arguably like one of my favorite humans. My son knows that as well. Anybody who's in my office knows that I have pictures of, well, a picture of him. If I had multiple pictures, that'd be kind of awkward. But one of my favorite quotes for him, I want to grow. I want to be better. You grow. We all grow. We're made to grow. You either evolve or you disappear. And that is so true for each and every one of you right now. Everybody is evolving into a different career path. Everybody's evolving into something brand new for them. Craig in a previous world did cakes and catering and upscale butler services. Is that correct? Did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Chip obviously has his auto detailing business that he's doing, but he's now evolving into real estate. Every single day you want to be better. And there are so many options out there for us where you can become better. YouTube will be your best friend. Google will be your best friend. You have so many resources at your fingertips that it's almost kind of scary that some people could fail in this business because they have everything at their disposal. When I first started off as a realtor, I would come to the office every day. Joe Ferry, who's the senior vice president who works in my office, who used to manage this office 15 years ago, still, and it's the scariest thing ever when he does this, he'll go like this, and it's like, can I talk to you? And he calls me into my own office and he scolds me. But it's because it comes from a good place where he's like, hey, let's grow. What can we do? And when I first started real estate, he pulled me into the office and he said, do you want to be successful? At that point, my son was 2 years old. I was going through a divorce. I was like, yeah, Joe, I don't really have another choice. I'm hobbling around on crutches. I have no other outlet. My only means of income was security, which I clearly can't do, or, you know, folding people into pretzels, which I clearly can't do as well. So he said, if you want to be successful, you start your day in the office and you end your day in the office. You know, I get it with COVID and everything. It's incredibly difficult to do that. But start your day with real estate and end your day with real estate. If you have a traditional 9 to 5, you show up at 9 o'clock. So if you're trying to make this real estate thing work, wake up, set your alarm, get ready, brush your teeth, take a shower, and be ready to do real estate work at 9 o'clock in the morning, whether it's in front of your computer or physically in the office. You might think, well, heck, I don't have anything to do. I'm brand new. I have no clients. Great. Go on Google, go on YouTube, type in how to sell real estate, how to close your first few deals, beginner's guide to real estate, any of those things. Go onto the Resource Center, which has a bunch of courses. I know Kelly's doing a few of them right now. There are so many things that you can do that's going to make you successful. Turn your car into a mobile university. On the way to and from grocery store, to and from wherever, listen to podcasts, listen to Tom Ferry, listen to Brian Buffini. Go on YouTube and just type in real estate, close your eyes and scroll and pick the first video and listen to it. You can learn something from every single person out there. Some of it might resonate with you and hit home with you, like the Inky Johnson videos did for me. Some of it might be, you know what, this guy's a quack and I'm going to ignore him. That's fine. At least open up your minds to everything out there. So on your handouts, and if you didn't have it, don't worry, you could just write this on a generic piece of paper. We talked about goals earlier, and we talked about how important goals were and how it's your final destination. It is your GPS. What I want you to do is I want you to write 3 specific goals. All right. I want you to write your short-term goal, which is between now and the end of 2021, so December 31st. I want you to write a 6-month goal, which whatever that day is. And then I want you to write your 1-year goal. I want you to keep this with you, and I want you to look at it every single day. This is going to be your reminder of what you set out today while you were energetic and enthusiastic about real estate. Because you're going to have days where you're super pumped and jazzed, and you're going to have days where you're going to want to call me up and say, Ryan, can we box because I want to hit something, which is fine. I'll graciously do that as well. All right, so write down your short-term goal, your midterm goal, and your long-term goal. I'll give you a few minutes right now.
Plus, if it's February, depending on your plan, that adds more to the price, making it more expensive.
But if I might run to our next test for over the counter without insurance.
Oh, they're $19.99. Maybe a better option. You can trust
Should be playing the Jeopardy background. Ray, you're a good hummer. Can you hum the Jeopardy music for us? Gil is looking like, what the hell did I get myself involved with? I don't know if the fire engulfed Corey because he's gone now. I'll give you guys one more minute. I like to see people writing. It's always awkward when like you do it and not one person is writing anything down. Like, all right, did you listen? Now, the beauty of a goal is being accountable for said goal. You all have a choice. Again, if you want to if you want to call me after this or tomorrow or anything like that, we can go over your goals. You can go over your goals with your manager. You can go over your goals with your significant other, right? You want to have a cadence of accountability, people that you are accountable for, right? As Inky Johnson says, it wasn't about the process, it's about the product, right? Or the process. He said he wanted to repay the people that had given him so much, right? He made them part of his accountability system, his accountability network. I know that at Niskayuna, we have an accountability system set in place where we have a lot of agents that are here every day. If somebody's not here for a day, we'll shoot them a text and say, hey, where are you? Is everything okay? Right? And that's what you want to have. You want to have that accountability piece set in place. We have 10 people on this call. You should all, afterwards, everybody's in the same email. You should all set up accountability sessions, right? Call each other up and say, hey, what did you do last week that is going to make you successful for this week? I love analogies. I love because it paints the picture. It's like a farmer who is trying to plant crops and grow crops. If he doesn't plant any seeds, he's not going to eat the next day. If you didn't do anything today to become successful in real estate, guess what? Tomorrow you're not going to eat. It's just not going to fall from the heavens above, and you're not just going to say, oh, look, a lead is here, right? You have to do things every single day. You have to plant 100 seeds, and then all of a sudden, one or two of them are going to blossom and grow. The cool thing with real estate is we don't know when that's going to happen. One of my favorite stories is this girl named Rachel, who, when I was bouncing, every single night she would come to the bar or club or whatever, and she says, Ryan, I'm going to buy a house through you. I'm going to buy a house through you. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's get you on track. She had to fix up some credit stuff. She had to work at her job a little bit longer. 3 years later, she called me up. She's like, I told you so. I'm like, what? She's like, here's my pre-approval. When can we go look at houses? That day, we looked at 6 houses, put an offer on the 6th house. We closed 2 months later. Now, from beginning to end, that process took 3.5 years. From beginning to end, the process of us actually physically looking took 1 day. Not a bad return on my investment. So we can't write people off, and we always have to be mindful of their situation. Everybody wants to buy a house. It's the American dream. I say everybody, 90% of people want to buy a house. We have to be there when they are good and ready to buy the house. They have to know that Craig is a real estate sales professional. They have to know that we have to market ourselves in such a way that when the time comes to buy, sell, rent, or invest, they know exactly who to call, right? When you make your phone calls to your center of influence, to your immediate friends and family, have that conversation with them and make it a business conversation. If I was going to call Kelly and I hadn't talked to her in a while, I was like, hey, Kelly, it's Ryan Clark. How are you? I'm good. Thanks. How's everything going? Great. Kelly, listen, I want to be completely honest with you. This is 100% a business call. Is that okay? And she said, yeah, what's going on? Like, I just got my real estate license. I work with Berkshire Hathaway. I was wondering, do you have a realtor that you know and trust? And she could say, no, I don't. Awesome. Do you mind if I apply for that position? And now I'm putting the seed in her brain that I am her realtor. She could even say, well, Ryan, I'm not looking to buy a house. Oh, that's great. Do you have a lawyer? Like, yeah. Are you looking at getting in trouble? Right? So you always want to put that seed in people's eyes that you are the professional when it comes to real estate. I love whenever I make my center of influence calls, my friends and family calls, I love presetting the expectations. Craig, this is 100% a business call. Is that okay? Craig could easily say, you know, I'm really busy right now. Can we call tomorrow at 3 o'clock? Sure, not a problem. The last thing you want to do, and I'm sure we've all been victim to this, is those gosh dang multi-level marketing schemes. I get them daily, whether it's somebody selling coffee or like those It Works body wraps or Amway or whatever the case is, where You would have a phone call from somebody you haven't talked to in 3 years. Like, hey, Ryan, how you doing? How's Landon? How's everything? How's your house? How's this? And you're jazzed up because you think they genuinely care. And then they drop the hammer on you. That all they want you to do is, hey, for $99.99, you could join my downstream and we could set the world on fire. Like, come on, bro. Like, be honest with me from the jump, and then we could talk about it. So knowing that that irks me is what I do to differentiate myself when I make my phone calls. And I just let them know that this is 100% a business call, and we're going to keep it at that. And then I would love to follow up in a few days, grab some coffee, talk about the wife and kids. We'll talk about everything under the sun aside from real estate. This slide is supposed to be like a kind of like a pop-up where the answer is not right there, like where I have everybody ask the question and then they answer. But the number one reason for people not reaching their goal is non-action. That's it. Non-action. There's no other reason why somebody doesn't hit their goal. You have the technology, you have the resources, you have the brand, you have the capacity because you all passed that ridiculous state exam. You all have the personality because every manager talks highly of you and obviously is intrigued to have you part of the team. So what is the only thing that is missing is action. And action comes directly from you all as realtors. If you need help, let us know. If you need this, let us know, right? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I am thoroughly excited to watch all of you grow in this business, but you need to have that action. And that's what we're going to do. So when you have a goal, you need to tie it to something more important than, in my opinion, just money, right? Money's great. I love it. You know, it makes the world go round, things like that. But what am I going to spend my money on? And Gary Vaynerchuk, who's another guy similar to Inky Johnson, Gary V, met him a bunch of times. He, for the longest time, and Simon Sinek is the same way, and he has a book called Know Your Why. But what's your why? What are you going to do with your first real estate commission check? What are you going to do with, your first, 5-figure paycheck from real estate? What are you going to do when you make 6 figures in real estate in a year? What is that going to look like for you? I'll tell a quick story. My why has always and will always be my son. That's my reason why. That's why I get up in the morning. That's why I work every single day. I have a sign in my office that says, remember why you started. I remember back, I think 3 years ago, pre-COVID, obviously, Landon wanted to go to New York City to go see Aladdin on Broadway. He also wanted to stay in Times Square. I don't know if you guys have been in New York City in a while, but Times Square is expensive for hotels, especially with a little 7-year-old. So you want to be in a nice area. And with a 7-year-old, you don't want to get bleacher seats because you'll never hear the end of it. So you have to get, the best seats. So it was a very expensive weekend trip, but that was my why at that particular time. And that's why I knew what I had to do in order to reverse engineer the numbers to get what I had. And we had one of the funnest trips ever. I made a severe parenting blunder where we decided to go on St. Patrick's Day weekend. So that was fun. So we were walking up and down Broadway. As you see, my son loves wearing suits. So we wore a suit and tie, walking up and down Broadway as a bunch of drunken college fools were throwing up all over the place. To make matters worse, we were supposed to be leaving to come home on Sunday. So we were going to take an Uber from Times Square down to Penn Station to get home. Well, they blocked off all of New York City for the parade. So we had to walk from our hotel in Times Square to Penn Station with about 45 minutes. The problem with that was they blocked the streets off. So the only way that we can cross the street was to go down through the subway system. And Landon forever will remember the smell of New York City subways. So that was my why. So on your piece of paper, write down what your why is. It could be taking your mother on vacation to Italy. It could be paying off student loan debts. Have something tangible where you can look and see, and you could tie your goal to your why. All right, everybody has your why and tied into your goal. One of the things that you should also do is do a vision board. I know it's like third grade finger painting, cutting from magazines and things like that, but I'll tell you, there's studies done. It's psychocybernetics. It's Dr. Maxwell Maltz. It's Think and Grow Rich, right? Whatever the mind can believe and conceive, the body will achieve. I 100% believe in all of that. You're putting it out there into the ether, into the world. Have a vision board. Put on your vision board what you want to accomplish with real estate. And I will tell you that if you put your mind and heart into it and you have action every single day, you will achieve it. There are certain things that I wanted to do, whether it's traveling to Europe, twice, 3 times a year sometimes as an agent, or, buying a specific watch. I wrote those things down and I put that into the ether, and all of which came true. Some of it did not come true. Obviously, I have other big dreams, but that's down the line, and we'll take it from there. So the simplistic real estate sales cycle, and again, we like to boil everything down as easy as possible. Prospecting and lead generation is all part of your marketing. That is where everything starts. It starts there. It's the same analogy as the farmer. You have to plant your seeds. You have to cultivate the land. You have to water your crops. Everything like that is prospecting and lead generation. What I want everybody to do is, and you don't have to put it in your day planner now, but make a note on your paper to block off an hour or 2 hours every single day for prospecting time. It is the most important thing that you can do, yet it is the most unused thing that we do. So a lot of times people will forget to prospect and they'll just kind of go by the seat of their pants and they'll forget to go there. I was talking to Joe Ferry at Hirsch. I made reference to them earlier, and they've done a lot of classes with me, and they've taught a few to, when we do Power Wednesdays, and they could say, if they can go back in time, they would spend more time prospecting. They're 35 years in and they still forget to prospect and do lead generation, right? And it could be as simple as a Facebook post. When you do Facebook, have a call for action. Show 2 properties, have one be a log cabin, have one be an updated colonial, and say, which one do you like better? Have people interject and interact with you on social media. It is the biggest and easiest way to have a broad stroke, right? And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to narrow that down and do handwritten notes for that deep sentimental value. So write down on the piece of paper the hours that you're going to prospect Monday through Friday. I mean, listen, you're all 1099, so Saturdays and Sundays are no longer existent. It all kind of morphs into one big week, and you might not work on a Friday, but you'll work on a Sunday. So have it in there when when you're going to prospect. Put it in your calendar. If something else comes up during your prospecting hours, guess what? Move something else. Those are your hours. The same way if you make an appointment with the doctor and it's in your planner, that's when you're meeting the doctor. That's when you're meeting the doctor. Nothing is going to change that. Once you do your prospecting and lead generation, then you're going to convert your prospects into clients. And that's where the fun begins. That's where you go showing them the properties. That's where you go listing their houses. That's where you go marketing everything. Once you're done with that, then you're going to close your clients and you're going to retain them. I hate the term past clients. I prefer current database. I reach out to my current database 3 or 4 times a year, whether it's during, Thanksgiving or the holidays, whether it's during spring or summer, whether it's during fall. I'll find a way to reach out. Perfect example is I have a current client that has purchased a house in the past. They bought and sold 3 houses already, and they're about to buy their 4th and then sell the other 3. Why? Because I keep in touch with them. They know who I am. They know who my son is. We have this big bond and everything. And that's what you're going to want to do. Before I met them, they had already bought a house with another realtor. And when I asked them, how come you're calling me, not their other realtor? They said, to be honest with you, we forgot what their name was. Damn, that must stink for the other realtor. Imagine it's close. They're buying expensive houses. Imagine losing out on 1.5 million because you couldn't send a handwritten note to somebody, once a quarter, or shooting a text message, hey, just want to see how everything's going, once a quarter, right? Those are the things that you're going to want to do as you evolve into your business. Now, what is marketing? Marketing is nothing more, nothing less than reach plus influence. That's all it is. Reach and influence. Social media, you have a huge reach, but itty bitty influence. That was I don't know if anybody's seen Aladdin, but that was my little play on Aladdin. Handwritten notes, you have huge influence, right? I could write a handwritten note to Craig, have it handwritten, addressed to him. 100% of the time, he's going to open up that envelope and read the whole card, right? Versus a postcard that's going to have a quiche recipe, right? If I do a nice handwritten note, hey, Craig, pleasure seeing you in class. I wish you nothing but success for the future. He's going to read that line by line because nobody sends handwritten notes anymore. It's an old Brian Buffini thing. Brian Buffini's a great real estate coach, real estate influencer. Myself and Brian were also Brian Buffini coaches. We've gone through the course a bunch of times. So you want to make sure that when you do your marketing, you have both reach plus influence. The only way to do that is to layer your approach, right? We talked about layering earlier. So have a Facebook post out there that's going to be a big blanket broad statement. Could be a house you just listed. Could be something as silly as you're going to show a house in the middle of the country and you see a bunch of cows everywhere. And it's like, wow, a day in the life of a realtor. Look at this. It's just that little subtle reminder that you're in real estate. It's that little subtle reminder that people are going to log in and they're, oh yeah, that's right. Craig is a real estate agent. Oh, that's right. Kelly is a real estate professional. I see her all the time. That is the biggest compliment anybody can get when they say, oh, wow, I see you all the time. You don't really see me all the time. It's like, I forgot the name of the syndrome, but if you want to buy a red car and then all of a sudden you're on the highway and all you see is red cars, it's that same thing. If all of a sudden I'm talking to you about real estate, oh, well, yeah, that's right. I see you all the time. The problem is that we get inundated with so many different tools that sometimes we lose focus on, what actually works, right? Because you have 1,000 different tools and 1,000 different ways of doing things, you try something once and you forget about it. It's like, I'm going to go on to the next thing. And that's why earlier I encouraged you, try everything. In the beginning of your career, nobody's telling you that you have to, light the world on fire. Learn your craft, hone your craft, practice your craft. This is going to be the greatest time of your real estate career because not a lot is asked of you, right? You're there trying to go through the motions and become the best version of yourself you can be. Now, Bruce Lee, in my opinion, he was a great at philosophy, not good at martial arts. That's a debate for a different day. We could debate it all the way until, you want. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. There is such valuable knowledge in that sentence, right? So try everything, go for it, practice, really hone in, right? Craig, I don't know if you're good on the phone, but if you are, just dive deep into that and start making your phone calls. Use some of the things that we talked about earlier. Hey, it's Craig. This is a business call. I'd love to chat with you. How's everything going? Talk to them. Ask for permission to be their realtor of choice. That's what you want to do. You want to be everybody's realtor of choice. All right, marketing. Back to marketing. So you're going to want to market your center of influence. We've hit that home, I think, 1,000 times. I think you can all see the value in your center of influence. You're going to want to create a database, whether it's on Sage, which is our CRM through Berkshire Hathaway, which I'm not a huge fan of. I'll be completely honest with you. Or it could be as simple as an Excel spreadsheet. Excel will be your best friend. If I can go back in time to day one, Ryan Clark, real estate agent day one, I would have a better system for creating and keeping my leads. I have Post-it notes all throughout my office of different leads and things like that. As an agent, had I put them all onto a database where I reached back out and had drip campaigns and marketed, I would have closed 10 times as many deals as I have already, because I would have 10 times more people to reach out to and 10 times more people that already knew Ryan, whether they were friends with me on Facebook or I sent them an email every now and again or a handwritten note. So you want to make sure that your database is up to date and checked every day. You should all try to get 100 people in your database within the first 2 to 3 weeks. I know it sounds like a lot, but if you go through your phone book, if you go through Facebook, if you go through any other means of marketing, you can create that. And this is 100 people that know you and like you. So, right, it's not going to be some weird gas station attendant that you met in Utica 7 years ago. Ray has a weird thing with gas station attendants. Never mind. What we're going to want to do is the people that you know and trust. All right. People that will always, oh yeah, Ryan, how's he doing? How's this? How's that? The people that you can call, because you're going to want to have 100 good contacts versus 1,000 bad ones, which will just kind of give you false hope. Right. There's a time and a place for your bad ones, but you want to grade them. You want to have the A people, which is your immediate friends and family, and then have a separate tab for the B, C's, and D's. The D's are somebody you met once in passing who made reference to real estate. Well, you can convert that D to a C, and then through more conversation, convert them to an A client. And then also once they're A's, then that's the referral base. So the best and most effective use of your time is your center of influence, the people you know already, and the people you trust. Like I said earlier, one of my first houses was sold through or by a friend of mine, Asi. And I asked him, I said, Asi, why would you trust me to help you buy a house? I have no idea what I'm doing. And this was an exact quote. He said, Coach, I trusted you enough to fight in the cage under your name. I trust you enough to help me sell my house. They trusted me in a different world, so they trust me now in this world. They knew what we were going to do then, and they know what I'm going to do now. And that is your COI. That is what I call grandma. In my grandma's eyes, I can do no wrong, no matter what's happened in the past, right? So you're going to do that. Grassroots marketing. Here's the question. I don't know if Chip probably wasn't even born when he was around, but anybody know who the guy in the middle is? Craig, anybody?
The Master P.
Yes, Master P. All right. I love telling the Master P story because he has a cartoon character now made of him. But back in the day, there was no voice for Southern rap. He used to go to record label after record label, and each and every one of them would shut him down. They would say, nope, your music is too weird, too unique. We don't like your style. It's not going to work. He ended up selling CDs out of the trunk of his car, started his own record label, and now he's a multi-billionaire. All right. Let that be a lesson to every single person here. I'm not telling you to sell CDs out of the trunk of your car, but having that go-getterness, being turned down 10 times to be accepted one time is a beautiful thing. You're going to constantly be handing out your business cards as if they were the CDs. You're going to constantly be engaging and talking to people as if it's those same CDs. All right. Creative marketing. You want to be creative, but you also want to be traditional, right? You're going to have both sides of the fence. You don't want to have all this like random balloons of things and forget the grassroots of marketing, right? Which is, just going out there and talking to people on a daily basis. Nosy neighbors are fantastic. That's for like open houses where, let's say you were doing an open house Sunday from 2 to 4. And if you got the okay from your client, you go and you canvass that neighborhood the day before and you say, hey, I am listing this house. It's open 2 to 4, but I am letting neighbors in there from 12 to 2. I'd love for you to be in there. Well, now you have a reason to reach out to the neighborhood. You have a reason for knocking on the door, right? Your call for action. You have a reason. You're not just blindly knocking on the door without a dialogue to say. You're knocking on the neighbor's door and saying, hey, I'm listing the Smith's house right down the road. I'm going to keep the open house earlier for you all as neighbors. Do you want to come by? Oh, sure. We'd love to. Sweet. I'll see you then. Right. And it's just another contact, another person. When you're there, as soon as you get back in your car to drive to the next house, write down some notes. If you notice they have a dog in the driveway or a dog in the house, write down a note. If you notice that they're Jet fans, right, football Jets, write a note, send them a handwritten note the following day. Hey, congratulations, the Jets won, right? Those little things they're going to remember. And now all of a sudden they know you as a real estate, they know you as a professional, they know that you care. The area you grew up in is going to be absolutely fantastic. I grew up in Antonio Hills in Rotterdam, and I thought it was funny. Some of my neighbors didn't, but I thought it was great. I actually sent out Halloween cards one year, and it says, hey, look, I'm all grown up. I'm not going to be egging your house anymore. If you have any questions about real estate, give me a call. They thought it was great. Like, oh my gosh, I remember you and your brothers used to egg our houses. That's what you did when you're 14 years old, right? So get creative. The area that you grew up in is going to be the area that you're going to want to sell. Chip, if you're in a certain area that you grew up in and everybody in the neighborhood remembers you riding your bike as a youngster, go and knock on the doors and talk to them and say, hey, I'm a real estate professional now. I know the area. Who would know it better than me? I live here. If you have any questions about real estate, give me a call. I'd love to help you out. And it doesn't have to be a hard-nosed sales tactic where you're like, hey, buy a house today. I'll give you the deal of a lifetime. No, you're just introducing yourself as a real estate professional. That's what we want to do in the beginning. We want to introduce ourselves. We want to be their realtor of choice. So when they are good and ready to buy a home, it's a no-brainer of who they call. You can geo-farm to the area you want to sell it, right? I have agents that are like, hey, Old Niskayuna is the best. I want to sell in that area. So they are taking their marketing dollars, their marketing budget, and they're applying it to Old Niskayuna. North Colony, another great area, right? So all these different little subdivisions and sub areas are fantastic for you to market yourself. Anywhere in the world, that's beautiful. Through Berkshire Hathaway, we could sell anywhere. I want to buy a house in Prague, which might be difficult in the next few years, but that's my goal. Expired and for sale by owners. There are certain agents in the Niskayuna office that live off of for sale by owners. They know the dialogue to have with them. They know what to do. They know what to say. They give them a lot of free information up front. And if the house doesn't sell, guess what? They're going to call us because we were so professional when it came to everything. Social media, have fresh content daily, sometimes twice a day, right? You want to be on social media. You want to be energetic and enthusiastic. Don't be so dry, right? On your personal page, it should be 70% personal, 30% business. It could be 80-20, it could be 90-10, but in my experience, you want to have a little bit of both. On your business page, you want to do the reverse. You want to have 70% business, 30% personal. Nobody wants to buy from a robot. A lot of times, and what the kiss of death is somebody will get their real estate license on Monday. On Tuesday, they're posting 10-year averages and trends and this and that, things that they've never posted about, and they forgot that social media is supposed to be social. People want to see pictures of your dog. People want to see pictures of you on vacation. People want to see pictures of you at a ball game. They don't want to just see random articles from Forbes magazine about the New York City rental market. They don't care about that. There's a time and a place for it. Your personal social media shouldn't be that place. All right. So you want to make sure that you have everything in order. We'll talk more about social media. We're going to talk about it at the end. And, I dislike social media, but I like money more. And social media is a vehicle to help me make money. So therefore, I'm going to do it.
Your expense track your deductibles can start happening. Plus, if it's February, depending on.
All right, we're going to mute that. I don't know where that noise is coming from. So center of influence. We've talked about this. We're going to continue to talk about it because it's that important. And as we're going along, we'll probably let you guys out of here about 15, 20 minutes early, unless there's any questions. So again, you're going to all get this PDF. This was something that Jay's father, so we all met Jay this morning. Jay's father, Jeff, gave me, Jeff Christiana. It's old, like one of the questions is, who's your local druggist? Back in the day, that was a pharmacist. And, now if you ask for a druggist, you might get arrested. But anywho, who's your local handyman? And this is just to help you kind of jog your memory, like some builders, some small business proprietors, hairdressers, barbers, babysitter, anybody in sales, because they understand our language. Teachers, principals, administrators. Shoot, every daycare my son ever went to, all of his teachers knew what I did for a living. And I would tell him straight up, hey, listen, his tuition is paid for by my real estate sales. So if you want to continue to get paid, you need to refer business to me. I would have a little bit more class when I would explain it to him, but I would have that conversation that I'm in sales just like you are. Let's all work together. Who do you know looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest? That's one of the greatest questions you can ask. Who do you know looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest? And it all goes back to that original question. Your center of influence is like exponents, right? It starts with 1, it goes to 3, it goes to 9, it goes to 81. And this is just, I made a little slideshow to show how it looks. It's the same thing as, how many square feet are in an acre. It's 200 by 200, but if you multiply that, it's like 42,000 or whatever the number is. And that's just the way that your COI works. A friend of a friend of a friend of a friend is going to ultimately buy a house through you. You just have to have that direct point of contact with the initial friend to start that ball in motion for the rest. So keys to a powerful COI. You're going to hear this theme. This is something that Brian McKenna talks about quite often, being the connector. All right. I think kids nowadays call it the plug, be the plug. But you're going to want to be the person that knows anybody and everybody in real estate, right? So if somebody has a question about real estate, hey, Ryan, I need a plumber. Oh, great. I have a plumber for you. You know what I do? When I give that referral to my plumber, I call my plumber and say, hey, Anthony, I just referred Joe to you. By the way, I've referred a lot of business to you recently. I haven't seen one lead coming back from you. So do you think you can maybe talk to your friends about my professional job as a realtor? Again, I say that jokingly, but those are conversations you can have with your friends. Hey, I'm constantly, giving you business, or even something as simple as like, hey, Joe, or hey, Anthony, Joe's going to give you a call. I gave him your information. All right, make sure you take care of it. Oh, cool. Thanks. Oh, by the way, my aunt's looking to buy a house. It's always that, oh, by the way, that you get when you connect people. And again, you're trying to connect people because it's the right thing to do. And then, on the tail end of that, you can also get leads and everything. Make sure everybody in your COI knows what you do for a living. Don't be a secret agent. Craig, how can everybody in your COI know what you do for a living?
I've mailed everybody that I know
Perfect.
A personal handwritten card.
I love it. Love it. I would do that, and I would follow up with a phone call as well. Like, hey, did you get my handwritten note? Yeah, it's real estate. It's awesome. I like what I'm doing. Just again, it's that layered approach of the 2-tier. Be comfortable with your COI. Be comfortable enough with your COI to ask for a referral. If you're not comfortable enough to ask for a referral, then they shouldn't be on your A list. They should be in your B, C, or D list. Right? I know I can call my mom right now and say, hey, Mom, do you have any leads for me or any referrals? Right? And I know that'd be fine. Somebody who I went to high school with 17 years ago that doesn't remember who I am, I'm not going to feel comfortable. So they're not going to be on my COI list. Don't be shy. And you want your COI to be as excited about your success as you are about theirs. Has to be a two-way street. Everybody has to kind of grow and want to learn and be, success orientated with one another. If somebody is a constant hater, or if somebody is constantly like negative, like, oh, you're in real estate, good luck. 87% of people fail, right? You loser, you're never going to amount to nothing. Get rid of those people, cut them out of your life. It is the most liberating thing I have ever done, getting rid of some of my old friends, because we're in different places. One of the biggest compliments I ever got from somebody who I used to hang out with was, hey, Ryan, you've changed. No shit. I'm 40 years old now. I'm a father and I'm a professional. I'm not the same 18-year-old kid I was 22 years ago. Sadly, you have not changed, and that's why you're still living in your mom's basement. But I digress. So you're going to want to, have the people that are going to want to, be excited about your success. So how to build your COI. All right. Meet people in the industry. If you haven't already, I'm sure you're going to get 1,000 emails from home inspectors that are going to say, hey, I'd love to have coffee with you. That's them building their COI. It's impossible for them to go to coffee with 500 realtors and give 500 leads out. They just want you 500 realtors to give them leads. All right. So you're going to want to meet people in the industry, insurance agents, lawyers, divorce attorneys, mortgage people, home inspectors, contractors, pest control companies, stagers, anything within that world, roofers, plumbers, HVAC specialists. You're going to want to meet them, and you're going to want to have them as part of your center of influence. My first attorney, who I made reference to earlier, is now my personal attorney, and she consistently gives me leads. Why? Because she knows that what we do in our office is going to be a good product. The same way that I refer her services as an attorney. She's not only just my professional real estate, attorney from all my buildings, but she also is the attorney that I recommend. Her and George Slingerland are the two that I recommend for all my clients as well.
I just ran into a divorce attorney and gave him all my cards too.
Yeah. And you want to,
At
constantly
Dunkin' Donuts.
bring them, give them donuts once a week. It might be a little bit of upfront cost, but they're going to remember who you are. Sure. Hey, listen, if you had the nickname Donut Guy and they continue to give you leads, by all means, that's a great idea, because divorces, well, they could sell their original house and then they could each buy a separate house. That could be 3 transactions in one. So you want to do that, but you want to be consistent with it. Don't just give them business cards on Monday and expect on Tuesday you're going to get a phone call, right? Be consistent, set up times to meet them, ask them questions about their practice, and, move forward from there. Meet people that have similar interests. Facebook is great. If you're just moving here, or if I was to pick up and move to Prague, which is, again, I've talked about that. It's my ultimate goal is to move there one day. I would join groups of similar interests. So I would join, martial arts clubs down there. I would join, different sporting leagues down there. I would join different concert halls down there. And I would ingratiate myself with people who have similar interests. Because at the end of the day, people who have similar interests are going to be more likely to refer and want to do business with you. Community outreach events, local happy hours. Again, a lot of the stuff with COVID is a little bit more difficult. But you can go on Facebook and you could type in, let's say, Kelly, you love to knit. You can join a knitting club on Facebook, and you can now become friends, and you could be the local real estate expert for that knitting club. That's what it's all about. You have to go kind of figure out these different avenues where people are. It's like a BNI group, right? A business networking group. And they only allow one realtor and one attorney and one doctor per those BNI groups. But if you're on Facebook, join a softball league, right? Everybody in that softball league knows. Think about how you came over here, Kelly, right? Your friend or your boyfriend is friends with Anthony. It's the same thing with real estate sales. Had you not been a realtor, your friend could have been friends with Anthony, or your boyfriend could have been friends with Anthony, and then you could have bought a house through Anthony. Let's go chat. Somebody's in the chat. Thanks so much for the summer. Really excellent information. Look forward to hearing more. Oh, thanks, Gila. Go to the mall, hand out business cards. This is something that I used to do way back in the day. Don't leave until they're all gone. Don't leave until the job is done. The gift and curse of real estate is the fact that we can work from home. I said it before that, I can work from home, but 9 out of 10 times when I first started my career, I was watching Judge Judy. I would get a phone call and I would wait to see the verdict, right? I would wait to see the results, or I'd be in a heated Madden football game online. You can't pause that. So I would get a phone call. I'd let it go to voicemail. I'd call the person back 45 minutes later, and guess what? They already picked a different realtor that they want to lose or choose. You want to treat every single thing every day like it's a full-time job. Networking events, networking groups, chamber of commerce, BNI groups, go to the same places daily and become active in the community and let them know what you do for a living. Joe Ferry, Ed Hirsch, they used to go to Gershon's here in Schenectady every single day. I have been in Gershon's a number of times, and I've seen it with my own 2 eyes, where a random person will be sitting there talking about real estate, and the waitress walks over, hands them Joe's business card, and says, if you want anything to do with real estate in this area, Joe Ferry is the person you have to call. It's amazing to see. They have other people doing their hustling for them because they've ingratiated themselves, because everybody knows what they do for a living, right? So if you go to the same restaurant every single week or same deli every day, let the people behind the counter know what you do for a living. Hand them your card. Talk to them about real estate. Heck, for all you know, they could be looking to buy a house, or they're in there with the general public. They could hear something and they're going to obviously refer the business right back to you. So when I was an agent more full-time than I am now, I would make a commitment, and everything that we're doing today is committing to it. So one of the things that I started was a referral group with a few of my buddies. So some of which were home inspectors, plumbers, electricians, and we would meet every fourth Friday, and we would have breakfast together, and we would just kind of shoot the shit, and we would talk about what's working, and we would hand out and talk to people about prospective leads and clients, things like that. So start something like that. The barbershop where I grew up in Rotterdam, my business card is right there in the mirror. The coolest thing about that is now whenever anybody from the community goes to get their haircut and they look at themselves, they see my picture. A lot of times people say, wait, Clark is a real estate broker now? Like, oh, no kidding, I haven't seen him in 20 years. And lo and behold, who's going to call me? Hey, Ryan, it's Joe. I'm looking to buy a house. I saw your business card over at Paulie's place, right? So the little things that you can do, and you can set up shop where now your marketing can work for you during your sleep. And that's what you want to do. So we went over a few different strategies. What I want you guys to do is now write down 2 different commitments that you're going to do to increase your COI within the next, 3 months. And go. Alrighty, and for the sake of time, we are going to move on to the next slide and talk about, grassroots marketing, things like that. And now listen, as I mentioned earlier, everybody's going to have a copy of this PDF. I'll try to, decrease the size, and then I'm going to send this link. So the link from earlier and this link is going to be on a YouTube page, and I'll share both of those on the Facebook group page. So that way you have easy access to it and everything. Oh, that was nice, Ray. That was cute. If anybody saw, his girlfriend just gave him a kiss goodbye. But anyway, grassroots marketing. Innovative, unconventional, low-cost marketing approach to help you gain influence and reach as a realtor. All right. I love the term low cost because right now you have all these expenses going out, whether it's through G-Cart, E&O, lock boxes, a little bit of marketing, gas, whatever it is, and you have nothing coming in because you're brand new in real estate. That's fine. It's normal. So, you can choose to be a Zillow Premier agent for $900 a month, which in my opinion is a waste of money. Do that later on in life when you have a book of business, when you have that, and that's just icing on the cake and you can afford that. What we're going to want to do now is different tips and tricks and strategies. So instead of using only one approach to marketing, understand that marketing combinations will give you the biggest return, right? Layering your approach. There's constant themes in any type of sales and any type of marketing, and constantly it's always that layered approach. And instead of thinking what you can take, think about what you can give in the way of free information. People don't want to feel like they're being sold. How many times have you gone to Best Buy? And this is one of my favorite analogies. You go into Best Buy and you're looking at that row of TVs, and finally that little geek in the blue shirt comes over and he says, hey, can I help you? And you instantly turn away and say, no, I'm good. 37 seconds later, you're still looking at those same TVs. You're like, you know what? I have questions. And you bring them back. We as humans are now we've turned away salespeople because we get sold every day. We want to buy on our own terms. So we have to understand that that's how the consumer is. So we have to give them enough information so when they are good and ready to buy, that's when they call us for our services. We don't ever want somebody to feel like they've been sold something. We're providing a service. I hate the term real estate salesperson. I enjoy the term and I like the term. And in fact, I've used it a number of times. I'm a real estate consultant. I'm here to help you through the real estate transaction. Salesperson sounds dirty and sleazy. All right. I know that that's the New York State designation, the New York State name and everything. So we have to use it on business cards. But when I'm having casual conversation, I explain to them that I'm here as your consultant. Instead of investing money in the marketing process, invest time, energy, and imagination towards cost-effective approaches, right? Time and energy is what Craig did, handwritten notes. I'm sure your hand was sore afterwards, but you know what? It's effective and it makes sense. And it was cheap and inexpensive, right? You pay for postage, you pay for the stack of card, you send it out. Time and energy is the only thing it costs you. Instead of trying to make a one-time sale, be dedicated to making long-term relationships. Create a deeper bond. Relationship versus transactional. It's the whole getting invited to the housewarming party. I've often said that if you don't get a text message from your clients about renovations that they're doing to the house, or if you don't get a text message saying, hey, don't tell anybody, but we're pregnant, we wanted you to be with first to know, you failed as a real estate agent. I always give a housewarming gift, but my housewarming gift is not going to be like flowers or something silly. It's going to be something that happened during the transaction. For instance, one of my housewarming gifts, my client's wife, every single house we went to, she asked her husband, can we take this wall out? Every house. And he's a contractor. And he said, well, of course. So I bought her her own engraved sledgehammer. They have used that all the time. Every time she picks it up, she remembers me. And it's just that constant reminder. And guess what? Every time they do a demo job, she'll take a picture of her using the sledgehammer and send it back to me. That's how I know that no matter whether they're looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest today, tomorrow, or 10 years from now, they're going to call me. If somebody makes reference to real estate, they're going to refer that person to me because I built that relationship versus just a one-time transaction. Don't ignore technology. Instead, embrace it. Understand that with technology comes change, and change is inevitable. Nobody cares. It's always been that way, right? The old, hey, did you do this? No, I've always done it this way. It's always been done this way. You have to evolve. You have to embrace technology, whether we like it or not. We're going to talk on Thursday about some of the new tech apps that we have. Super easy. It's not, if you can log into Zoom and download Zoom, you're going to be fine on Dot, Loop, and Paragon. All right. Some of the grassroots marketing that we've done, again, I like to be creative. So, at the bottom right corner, free pizza with the purchase of a house. It gets people talking. It gets people engaged. The one in the middle, we said yes to the address and a key. It's a play on words for the Bravo TV show. We said yes to the dress. Am I right, Kelly? Is that a show? Craig,
it is. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah. I was forced to watch that a few times, but I'll counseling afterwards for a different story. And then certain times you have things that you can't change. What's the one thing you can't change about a house? Where it's located. You can't pick it up and move it, right? So if you look in the background, it's across the street from a cemetery. You can't move the house away from the cemetery. Instead, you can embrace it. So the person, Tommy, decided to write quiet neighbors and an arrow pointing. They're embracing the fact that there's a cemetery. You know what? The glass is half full. Nobody will ever be able to build over there. You're never going to have a loud neighbor over there. You're always going to have peace and quiet. And you know what? If you can't move the house, embrace what it has. And that's, super important. Let me just go here. One of the things, again, another thing that you're going to want to do is change of address card. So when somebody closes on their house, ask them, hey, do you mind if I set up and do a change of address card? And this is just something I made generically. It says, thanks to our realtor, Ryan Clark, we moved to 123 Anywhere. And then you're going to put your name, your contact information, your photo. Guess what? When you get invited to the housewarming party, they're going to already remember you because you've been on the refrigerator for the last 3 months because you sent the change of address card for Joe and Pam Smith, right? And it's just, again, it's a little creative way. It's not a whole heck of a lot of money. It's super good. So, you know, Ray, if you sell your house, or when you sell your house to Waynesburg, if they decide to move, do a change of address card. You know, obviously they move out of the state, it might not be worth your time and energy, but listen, it's a way for you to get in front of 50 new people that you already have a good rapport with because you sold their friend's house. If somebody wants to notify somebody that they've moved, they're obviously somebody important in their life. And if you help them sell their home, they're obviously going to speak highly of you. So might as well utilize that. All right. So grassroots marketing, you know, again, start thinking about what you're going to want to do grassroots wise, something that's going to be, you know, super inexpensive. Craig, you already did it. You already did the handwritten notes, right? Do something else now. Do a boosted Facebook post in that same area. We're going to talk about Facebook pages on Thursday, but you're going to want to start committing to these things. And that's what this whole entire class is about. It's, you know, how to have consistent activity every single day that's going to lead to business tomorrow. All right, social media, it's the elephant in the room. I've made reference to it before. I thoroughly dislike it, but I love, you know, selling houses more than I dislike social media. If you're not,
We could all be like Gina.
What was that, bud?
If we could all be like Gina.
Yeah, right.
I was in real estate class with her.
Oh, Barrera?
Yeah, we took same time.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's she is
She's killer.
Yeah, she's fantastic when it comes to that. And if you ever want, call her up and ask her. She'll love to explain what she does. And you know, a lot of the marketing that I do now is directly from her. We sold a bunch of houses over in Waynesburg, and if you watch her activity on social media and like her images and then mine, it's night and day how much better hers are than mine. You know, but yeah, that's what she does. She's fantastic at it. So 6 out of 10 buyers are Gen X or Gen Y, which makes up the biggest users of social media. All right. So the biggest users of social media are also making up 60% of the buying population. So it is in your best interest to be where the buyers are. It's a no-brainer. If I know all of my buyers are going to be at 123 Main Street, I'm going to show up at 123 Main Street. And I'm going to be there to talk to them about real estate. If I know all of my buyers are going to be on social, I'm going to be on social. I posted and I was on Instagram probably about 4 years ago, and I got a random message from some lady. Her name is Kim. And in that message, you know, we talked about, she talked to me about buying a house. And I've never met her before in my life. And she ultimately bought a house through me because of social media. Her message was, "Hey, Ryan, I know this is going to sound weird, but you look like a trustworthy, good father. My husband and I want to buy a house." Thought that was quite awkward. I met her and I was safe when I met her to make sure I wasn't going to get killed. But to this day, she's referred 3 other people to me, and that was directly related to social media. So the basics, don't be scared. You're not going to break the internet. Google and YouTube are going to be your best friends. You can spend a few minutes each day exploring both sites for amazing content, tutorials, on any subject. So Google how to use Instagram for real estate, how to use Facebook for real estate, how to generate leads with YouTube, how to generate leads with Instagram. Does everybody here have an Instagram account? Oh, Craig, you're muted.
My phone was going off. Sorry, the house phone.
That's all good. Do
So
you
what
have
was that
Instagram,
again?
Craig? Do you have Instagram?
I don't smoke. I don't
Do you have
smoke.
Instagram? You don't
No.
smoke?
No,
How about Instagram?
I don't have Instagram either.
Okay. So let's get you set up on Instagram in the next week or so. All right. Plan?
Okay.
I like it. That's commitment right there. Kelly, do you have Instagram?
No.
All right, we're gonna set you up today. Chip, Instagram?
Yes, but I don't
Perfect.
think that most of the people who follow me are in the position to buy a house, considering they're all my age.
That's all right. But guess what? They know somebody who might, right? We're not looking at that direct one person, right? I'm not looking at Kelly and banking that she's going to buy a house. I'm trying to get enough of a reaction from Kelly where she knows. So for instance, perfect example, I have never met Kelly a day in my life until she came to the office. I met her through an agent of my office. His friend is her boyfriend. So that was 3 levels away. Same way when you sell a house, it might not be a direct friend. It could be a friend's mom. It could be a friend's aunt. It could be somebody along that lines, right? So we have to get ourselves in that mindset that it could be, it's like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right? You could be 6 degrees away from somebody and still have them buy a house. And then who else? Ray, I know you got Insta. Suzanne, she can't hear us, but I know she's here. One of the things that you're going to want to do on Instagram, for me, my name is Ryan Clark _real estate. Now, every time I comment, like, share, do anything, it's just that subtle reminder. Oh, that's right. He is a real estate broker. Oh, that's right. He does this. Half of my pictures are of my son, myself, or MMA. The other half are real estate related. It's that blend between my personal life and my professional life. And that's what you can do through Instagram, through stories, and through pictures and images. Facebook, the same thing. I could post articles. I could post things like that. You're going to want to post 1 time a day. You're going to want to be active. I prefer to post in the morning and let that post marinate throughout the day. And I'll always have a call for action, things like this and like that. Mornings and nights are the best times to post. 2 o'clock in the afternoon while everybody's at work is not really a good time. But 7:30 in the morning or 8:30 at night when people are getting up and ready for work, or when they're laying in bed trying to relax for the rest of the night. Have a call for action to engage your audience. Like I said earlier, have that post of a regular bathroom versus an updated bathroom, or a house with a view or a house on a lake, and have a call for action. Say, which one do you prefer? Sound off, all that fun stuff. Don't blindly just share without posting a few sentences about the article. So if you're going to post an article, have like a little summary about the article. Like, wow, can you believe what they wrote on page 5 about whatever, right? Nobody's going to click the link to read it unless you give them like a Cliff's Notes version of what's going on. Share success stories. You're going to always want to share your own story, share a success story, share a story with a client. Have your client share stories with you and tag you on there. Have Berkshire Hathaway. We do a fantastic job of bragging for you. You all had it when you had your welcome letter come out. You all had it. You're going to have it when you have, your first testimonial come out. I do it all the time for agents when they have new listings in the office, or if somebody closed their first paycheck, right, or got their first paycheck, I'm going to always post that on there. And then platforms, Instagram and Facebook are the 2 biggest ones. And then, utilize the stories function. That's absolutely fantastic as well. And then I asked the question, do you love success more than you dislike social media? And if the answer is yes, you will commit to it. All right. Kelly, Craig already committed to, setting up an Instagram account. So that's going to be their commitment. That's what they're going to look forward to. That's the end of day 1. Here's my cell phone. You guys all should have it from the emails and everything. Texting is the easiest and best way of getting a hold of me. I know that you all kind of work throughout different offices and everything, but feel free to call me, ask me questions, whether it's, about marketing or about a specific deal. Like I said earlier, every Monday we're going to log in. I'll log in around 9:30, just in case you have specific questions. That way you can ask them, and we can move forward from there. And then I'll see you all Thursday, 9:30. The first class is with Brian McKenna. And then the second class, we'll do some technology stuff. We're going to go over Paragon. We're going to go over like a brief overview of Toolkit CMA. We're going to go over Dotloop and some of their functions. And I'm actually going to share my screen so you could see what the websites look like, see what to look for. We're going to talk about Facebook and the business page, how to set that up and how to, have it look authentic. And then the resource center, we're going to kind of play around with that. It's scheduled for 2 hours. It'll probably be 1 hour and 15 minutes. I'll let you guys dip out of there a little early on Thursday. to hopefully enjoy the Columbus Day weekend and everything. Does anybody have any questions while I still have you? Awesome. It's going to be a lot to take in the beginning. The analogy is it's like a computer that has 37 open browsers and the music is going and you have no idea where it's coming from. You're going to be inundated with so much stuff, whether it's this class or at the office. Just slowly but surely take it all in. It's like when you first get your driver's license and you're doing 50 miles an hour on the highway, hands are at 10 and 2 and you're just driving slowly. Within 6 months, you're driving with one hand on the wheel, listening to your favorite music, doing 75 miles an hour. Everything slows down. It'll become easier over time. Like I said, as always, if you have any questions, you know how to reach me, and I'll see you all on Thursday. Have a good one, everybody. You got it.
Good day.